we just, we played hard. That's one thing about this team and the culture that we have here. We play hard. We're going to fight till the end. And, at the end of the day, the Panthers came out on top. So, shout out to them. It's just time for us to go back to the drawing board, see what we can fix and work on, and come out, firing next week.
You guys were moving up and down the field. At the very end, Blake, was it shocking that you didn't win with the turnover?
It wasn't shocking. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't shocking. You just control what you can control. You know what I'm saying? But like you said, we were moving down the field, and everyone was doing a great job from the O-line to receivers, Matthew. We were rolling. You know what I'm saying? It's just, some things you can't control. Panthers, they made a good play, and that's something we just got to learn from. But like I said, we fought hard, man. We fought hard, but, we just didn't get the dub today. But, we move on.
What's the feeling like on the sideline as an offense when you have like almost an entire quarter where you guys aren't on the field?
Yeah, you just got to stay warm. Stay warm, stay loose, and get ready to go back in and, start where we left off. Because like I said, we were rolling. You know what I'm saying? It's just, little mistakes here and there that we need to just correct. But like I said, the team fought hard, man. I'm proud of this team. I'm proud of all the guys, the way they fought to the end. And, we just didn't come out on top.
You average almost 12 yards a carry. What was working on the ground for you guys?
Well, first, offensive line was doing a phenomenal job. And then the receivers, on my long run, Jay Witt had a great block when I went and cut. And, everything. From duo to outside zone, we were going back and forth, depending on if they were in 6-tech or 9-tech and vice versa. So, it was a great job by the O-line, tight ends, and everyone just working as one.
Yeah, I just feel like this is a wake-up call. Something that we just got to learn from. I definitely think it's something that we needed, but I don't look at it as like a bad thing. I just look at it as like it's motivation. It's something I'm glad that it's happened. We need this.
Why do you guys need this?
You said why do we need this? Just don't get complacent or nothing like that, and just like I said, humble our experience. And like we were about to get the fourth down, and I feel like we definitely needed that. We just kept going.
Do you guys feel like you guys got complacent?
Two more guys. Two of their touchdowns came on fourth downs. Is that tough to stomach?
Yeah, and we did something that we never don't give up like that, and have them on fourth down and get one more stop. Yeah, that's definitely a tough pill to swallow. Like I said, it's a humble experience, and it's something I feel like we needed. You got to build off it. You got to stay motivated and keep on.
You guys had been able to avoid and overcome turnovers leading up to this game. Did you feel like you guys were going to be able to overcome the mistakes?
I did. With this team, I'm always optimistic that, even through some adversity throughout the game, that we'll weather the storm and figure it out. We just made a few too many mistakes, and as a team didn't play. We've had games where on offense we didn't play great, and then the defense picks it up. We just didn't totally, nobody saved the day today, and that's why we end up falling short.
Strange in that third quarter, you guys only had 3 plays. Did that affect you guys' play in the fourth quarter at all?
I don't think so. I think it's just comes down to just obviously protecting the ball. When you're playing in the elements, you got to be extra cautious of that, and have a little bit more awareness to covering it up. Obviously, Matthew does a great job with protecting the ball. Interception-wise, fumble-wise, whatever it is. First pick was obviously a fluke. The ball gets tipped, not much you can do about that as a quarterback, and then as receivers, we just got to do what we can to knock it down. Sometimes they come up with those, and second one they got us on, obviously, and then the fumble at the end that we got to do the best job we can of protecting it. But those type of things happen, and our quarterback protects it better than anybody. So moving forward, we're not necessarily worried about that. We just got to make sure we got our antennas up.
A couple of your teammates called this a wake-up call and maybe something you guys needed. Did you feel that way?
Look, I don't know. I don't think anybody in here was riding high like we were, some invincible team. Obviously, it feels like that when you're running off wins, but we didn't necessarily need to be humbled or anything like that. I think we roll as a humble crew, very confident crew, but humble. And sometimes the ball just doesn't go your way, and you got to lace them back up and figure it out the next week.
What do you take from that game?
I think the opportunity for us to execute when we need to come down some of these third downs, and we had an opportunity to stay away from third downs early in the game, and then that this wasn't how the game kind of played out for us in the second half.
Can you take us through your one-handed catch there for the big game?
knowing that we have a double move up and trusting the spot of number 9, I definitely could have feel like I could have sold the route more. He was ready for it, and then just when the ball's up in the air, it's my job to go make a play and trying to find some way to come down with it. And man, it was a wild one. I did it for a second, thought I was going to bat it down, and was able to end up with my hands, and it felt good.
What's the frustration like in a game like this where you guys just move it up and down the field, but it just felt like a couple of plays, either third downs or turnovers, was the difference?
Yeah, I think I know I can do my part, especially in the run game, of the looks that we were getting and being able to execute when we're moving up to the second level and trying to block, and then especially on our pick right here, on a pick 6, of doing a better job of being able to come out at a flatter angle, give Matthew a clear target he can put the ball in. I feel like those are some of the things that we just haven't had some of those situations kind of come up, and it's something that we'll learn from and get better.
Sean had warned all week that humility is one day away. What's humbling about today?
Just knowing that these are some of the things that we feel like we operate at a high level at, these third downs where we take pride, especially in our receiver room, of being able to execute in some of those moments. And then I know our defense feels the exact same way of the opportunities to get off the field so they can't get the ball in our hands. And we can do our job of playing complementary football and scoring when we get opportunities.
Honestly excited to be able to go back, clean that up. That's going to be the first thing I do on the bus ride to the plane, is go back, look at the tape, figure out what we can clean up, and we're going to keep pushing forward.
So in some respects, is there a positive within all this?
I think, at the end of the day, this is a setback, and setbacks, as Sean says, are setups for a greater comeback. So I'm definitely excited to go back to work with these guys. We have the right type of people in this building who are going to take this and use this as an opportunity to get better. Obviously, a humbling experience. We've been talking about it all week. Humble pie is only 1 week away. This week we ate some humble pie, but going to be able to come back stronger and a lot stronger next week, and I'm excited for that opportunity.
We talked to you before the game, and you were talking about we've seen this from Bryce where he throws 400, and we've seen other games. You had success today. You guys didn't have great success getting to him. What was the difference?
Yeah, I think one of the big differences is they were able to stay on track. We got to do a much better job on first and second down to get them into those third and long situations and to really make him have to sit back, get through his progressions, and give us some more time to get there. So, we knew that they had a very strong run game. They did some good work on the ground. We're going to have to go back, clean that up. And we also knew that we're going to have to earn the right this week. They're not a team that gets in second and long and automatically passes the ball. So that's going to be what we need to do going forward, is make sure that we earn the right on early downs, first and second downs, get them behind the sticks, really make them play from behind, and then we're going to really be able to go and get after the quarterback.
I just got rolled up on, classic, just big guys laying on top of you. And thank goodness that I went through something last year or 2 years ago that, had scar tissue in that ankle, so it's not really a big of a deal. So, thank goodness for that. Thank the Lord, and I'll be ready to go next week.
I think it's only football players say.
Exactly. The scar tissue, man.
A couple of your teammates talked about how this was a wake-up call, and maybe you guys were riding high after this win streak. Did you feel that way?
Sure, you say it's a wake-up call. I think we got woke up twice already this early on in the season. I just think we got to continue to keep being consistent and not be complacent. We got to continue to keeping the foot in the gas. And I'm talking to myself first, and then obviously whoever listens, relays that message. But I think that we got to continue to come out the gate with that type of energy. I think Ronnie started off well with that kickoff return. We just got to continue to keep that momentum. Coach McVay always talks about snatching momentum and taking it back. And so whenever we lose that, we just got to continue to keep focused on snatching it back and continue to keep putting the ball in our hands.
What did Sean say to you guys after the game?
This is exactly what we needed. This is who we are. Who we got in this locker room is not going to dictate with the rest of the season, if that makes sense. We got guys in here who are mentally resilient, who are physically resilient, and who are going to continue to keep working hard because they know the goal of this team isn't just based on the results of today. I think we got to continue to keep getting better. And Coach McVay said he believes in us, and he knows that the guys that are in this locker room will get that done, and I believe that too.
How do you process a game like this on offense, where it felt like you guys just moved up and down the field at will, and then just a few plays end up being the mistakes that cost you?
I think that's ball right there. That's the name of the game, especially right now where we're at playing professional football. The margin for error is so small, and so although we did what we needed to do offensively, there's some things that we obviously didn't capitalize on. And I think that's nothing besides just going back to work and continue to keep getting that feel, getting that gel, getting that glue, and continue to know that, man, I'm right here with everybody in this locker room. I think this is another chance of adversity that we get to see who we got in this locker room and the type of men that we got.